All right, everybody, welcome back. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something a little different.
Yeah, a little bit different.
We're looking at music production.
Right.
But not the kind of like make a hit song and put it on Spotify type of music production. This is all about sync licensing. And we're going to be looking at a YouTube video called Start Your Career as a Music Producer by Eric over at Beechtree Sound Engineering.
Beechtree Sound Engineering, yeah.
Have you ever heard of that before?
I have, yeah. He's got a lot of great stuff out there. A lot of resources for music producers.
Okay, awesome. So for people who might not know what sync licensing is,
Right.
what we're talking about is like when you're watching a YouTube video and there's like a little background music playing, or you're watching a TV show or a movie and there's just like music kind of subtly playing in the background.
Yeah, exactly. It's providing music to accompany visuals, basically. And the licensing part is that you're selling the rights for someone to use your music
Right.
in their video.
So I guess let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
First thing that I thought was really interesting that he talked about was this idea that, you know, when you're making music to put on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever,
Right.
it's a lot about like expressing yourself and your artistic vision and all that.
So your art, yeah.
Yeah, it's like your art. But he says, like with sync licensing, you kind of have to take a different approach.
You do, yeah. It's much more business oriented.
Yep.
You're fulfilling a need.
Right.
You're thinking about what are these, filmmakers or YouTubers, what kind of music are they looking for, and how can I create something that fits that need?
So it's almost like you're making music to order in a way,
Yeah, it is like that.
which I thought was really interesting. And then the other thing that he mentioned was this idea of quantity,
Yes.
like how much music you actually need to produce,
Yeah.
which is kind of mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, so he actually recommends aiming for a library of around 200 tracks.
200.
200 tracks, yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of music.
It is a lot of music.
Like how do you even wrap your head around making that much music?
I think it can seem really daunting at first.
Yeah.
But he breaks it down in a way that makes it feel manageable.
Okay.
And one of the key things is understanding the non-exclusive nature of sync licensing.
Right.
Tracks can be in multiple libraries at the same time.
So it's not like you're giving exclusive rights to one library.
Exactly. So the more tracks you have out there in different libraries, the higher your chances of someone actually using your music.
It's in a numbers game then.
Yeah, it really is a numbers
All
game.
right, so you got to crank out those
Yes.
tracks.
Okay. But that doesn't mean sacrificing quality.
Right.
It's about finding a balance between efficiency and making sure your music is still good.
Okay. I mean, and he had some tips on that, right? Like about how to actually produce that much music without losing your mind.
Yeah, exactly. So he actually uses his mobile phone and some almost free apps to create a lot of his music.
Really? Wow. I mean, I guess that makes sense because you don't want to spend weeks on each individual track.
Right, you want to streamline the process.
Yeah.
But he also emphasizes that just because you're being efficient doesn't mean you're not being creative.
Right.
You still need to think about the storytelling aspect of the music.
Right.
Even though it's background music, it still has to evoke a certain emotion,
Yeah.
fit a certain mood, and enhance the visuals.
So it's like you're like the silent storyteller in a way.
Exactly, a silent storyteller.
Okay, so we're making a ton of music. We're being efficient but creative.
Yeah,
But how do we actually like make this a successful business?
right. So he lays out 5 key tips for success in sync licensing.
5 tips. Okay, what's number 1?
Number 1 is to start with a brief.
A brief.
A brief. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't have a specific client, so how can I have a brief?
Right.
His advice is to imagine the type of video that your music will accompany.
Oh, okay, so you're kind of coming up with your own brief almost.
Exactly. So are you making music for a high energy workout video? Or is it a travel vlog? Or a suspenseful thriller film? Having that kind of general idea in mind helps you create music that fits the mood.
That makes sense. Okay, so what's tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is don't overthink sample selection.
Okay, don't get too bogged down in like finding the perfect sounds and all that.
Exactly. You want to be efficient.
Okay.
You need volume. So spending weeks crafting unique sounds from scratch is not the best use of your time.
Right. Okay, so move fast.
Move fast.
Gotcha.
Quality over perfection.
Okay. What about number 3?
Number 3 is all about genre diversity.
Oh, so don't just like make 200 tracks of the same style of music.
Yeah, exactly. You want to have a wide range of genres in your library.
Okay.
You know, maybe try some upbeat ukulele music for a travel vlog or some dark ambient soundscapes for a thriller film.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that idea. Okay, number 4.
Tip number 4 is choosing a sync library.
Oh, right, because you got to get your music out there somehow.
Exactly. He compares it to choosing a bookstore.
Okay.
A huge bookstore might have something for everyone, but you might also discover a hidden gem of a specialty shop later on.
Right, so maybe start big and then go niche later on.
Exactly. When you're starting out, aim for a large library with a broad audience, and as you gain experience, you can explore niche libraries that cater to specific genres or moods.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and the final tip, number 5.
Number 5 is to remember the supporting role of your music.
Oh, right. It shouldn't overpower the visuals.
Exactly.
And
Your music shouldn't steal the show. It's there to enhance the visuals, to create a mood, and to make the viewer feel something.
So subtlety is key.
Subtlety is key.
Okay, I like it. I like it. So I guess a big question is like, who is this for? Like, who should be thinking about sync licensing?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a musician and you want to explore alternative avenues for your music,
Right?
and maybe even generate some income sync licensing, could be a really great option for you.
It's a different game than trying to make it big on Spotify.
Yeah, it's a completely different game.
But it seems like it could be really rewarding.
Definitely.
Okay, well, I think we've given everybody a lot to think about.
I think so too.
Maybe even like a whole new career path.
Maybe, yeah.
Now, just imagine for a second,
Okay.
if your music was playing behind a video,
Right.
what kind of video would that be?
That's a good question.
What would it sound like?
Yeah, what would that sound like?
That's something to think about.
It is food for thought.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
Yeah, this was fun.
It was super interesting. I learned a lot.
Me too.
Hopefully everybody else did too. And we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.